$60 million at 18, never worked a single day. While most teenagers are flipping burgers for minimum wage, Barron Trump is collecting mansions, wearing $30,000 watches, and living in a world so luxurious it makes Hollywood look cheap. Golden baby carriages, caviar skincare, an entire floor of Trump Tower just for his toys. But here's what nobody's telling you about the youngest Trump heir. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll see why his lifestyle isn't just extravagant, it's absolutely insane. Let's dive in. Born March 20, 2006, in the heart of New York City, Barron Trump entered a world most of us can't even imagine. While his half-siblings were decades older, ranging from 13 to 28 years ahead of him, Barron became the baby prince of the Trump empire, raised practically as an only child. His father, Donald Trump, net worth, $7.5 billion, real estate mogul, TV personality, and eventually, President of the United States. His mother, Melania Trump, former supermodel, turned First Lady. Together, they didn't just give Barron a comfortable life. They gave him a life of unapologetic, over-the-top extravagance that would make even billionaires jealous. And it started from day one. Let's talk about Barron's first gift as a newborn. Most babies get stuffed animals or blankets, right? Not Barron Trump. Ellen DeGeneres gifted him a golden baby carriage. Not gold-plated, not gold-colored, actual gold. Imagine being pushed around Manhattan in a pram that costs more than a luxury car. That's how Barron's life started, and it only got more insane from there. But the golden carriage was just the beginning. His home, the Trump Tower penthouse on Fifth Avenue, a triplex apartment dripping in marble and gold, offering breathtaking views of Central Park and the Manhattan skyline. Here's where it gets wild. Barron had an entire floor to himself, not just a bedroom, an entire floor. While most kids are thrilled to get their own room, Barron had a nursery, living room, kitchen, and quarters for his mother and nannies, all on his personal floor. The nursery, designed in Louis XIV style, think French monarchy-level grandeur, intricate designs, luxurious furnishings, chandeliers. This wasn't a kid's room. This was a palace for a modern-day prince. The ceiling moldings alone probably cost more than most people's annual salary. Every detail was meticulously crafted to create an environment of pure opulence. And get this, his skincare routine. Yes, skincare. When Melania launched her caviar-infused moisturizer called Caviar Complex C6, she revealed she applied it on Barron every single night, head to toe. Imagine a 7-year-old getting pampered with caviar moisturizer after his bath. If that's not the definition of luxury, I don't know what is. This wasn't just pampering. This was a lifestyle where even basic routines became displays of extraordinary wealth. While other parents were using baby lotion from the drugstore, Barron was getting the caviar treatment. It's the kind of thing that sounds almost unbelievable, but it's completely true. Barron's introduction to the world wasn't subtle either. Just 2 months after his birth in May 2006, he made his television debut on The Oprah Winfrey Show. Oprah's friend, Gayle King, conducted an exclusive interview with Donald and Melania, and they proudly introduced baby Barron to millions of viewers. When asked what it was like to have a baby again after so many years, Donald beamed with pride. Melania, glowing, shared how Donald was great with the baby, spending time with him every morning, watching TV, reading newspapers. Even though baby Barron was fussy during the interview, the world was captivated. The youngest Trump was already a star. The name Barron itself has a story. Donald revealed it was a name he'd always loved but never dared to use until now. And with that, Barron's life in the spotlight officially began. From that moment on, there was no escaping the attention. Every public appearance, every photo, every detail of his life became public fascination. The media couldn't get enough of this baby born into one of America's most famous and wealthy families. Even as an infant, Barron was generating headlines and sparking conversations across the country. Now let's talk money, because at just 18 years old, Barron Trump is sitting on an estimated $60 million fortune. That's more cash than most people see in multiple lifetimes, and he didn't lift a finger to earn it. It's all thanks to his family's wealth and smart investments. But here's where it gets really interesting: his trust fund. Imagine a treasure chest overflowing with properties and stock portfolios. That's Barron's trust fund. Most teenagers are excited about getting a car for their birthday. Barron has a portfolio that rivals successful hedge fund managers. It includes a 10,000 square foot mansion in Palm Beach, Florida, located on the same estate as Mar-a-Lago. Estimated value between $160 million and $250 million, depending on the source. Think about that for a second. One property alone could be worth $250 million. But that's not all. He also owns a 30-acre estate in Bedminster, New Jersey, featuring a 7,000 square foot mansion, a golf course, and a swimming pool. Value: around $19 million. Most people dream of owning one home. Barron has multiple estates worth hundreds of millions combined. These aren't just houses. These are sprawling compounds with every amenity imaginable. But wait, there's more. Barron also owns stakes in some of the biggest tech companies in the world: Amazon, Alphabet, Microsoft, Apple, Meta, Tesla, Berkshire Hathaway, JP Morgan Chase, United Health Group, Home Depot, Visa. That's not just dipping your toe in the stock market. That's having a finger in every pie. And with 25% of his trust fund invested in these stocks, Barron's wealth is growing faster than most people's careers. These aren't small investments either. We're talking about millions of dollars working for him while he sleeps, while he goes to school, while he plays soccer. His money makes money. By the time he's 30, we're probably looking at a billionaire, and he'll have achieved it without ever clocking into a 9-to-5 job. The beauty of these investments is that they're diversified across different sectors. Tech giants like Amazon and Apple ensure he benefits from the digital revolution. Traditional powerhouses like Berkshire Hathaway and JP Morgan Chase provide stability. Healthcare and retail round out the portfolio with United Health Group and Home Depot. This isn't amateur investing. This is a professionally managed portfolio designed to generate wealth for generations. Barron's financial future is more secure than 99.9% of people on Earth, and he's barely an adult. You'd think with all this money, education might not be a priority. Wrong. The Trumps spared no expense when it came to Barron's schooling. Early on, Melania took a hands-on approach. She homeschooled him herself, teaching him languages, Slovenian, French, and more. Barron grew up bilingual, speaking Slovenian fluently thanks to lessons from his mother and grandparents. He enjoyed Slovenian food, especially dishes made by his late grandmother, Amalia Novs. Melania was determined to give Barron a strong foundation, not just in academics, but in culture and heritage. She wanted him to understand his roots and appreciate the immigrant story that brought his mother to America. But when it was time for formal schooling, Barron attended only the best institutions. First up was Columbia Grammar and Preparatory School, an elite institution on Manhattan's Upper West Side, known for rigorous academics and creativity. This wasn't your average private school. This was where New York's elite sent their children. The school has produced senators, artists, writers, and business leaders. And in his last year there, Barron did something unforgettable. He took his entire class, 80 kids, teachers, and Secret Service agents, on a field trip to Washington, D.C. Talk about a cool class outing. Imagine being one of those classmates, touring the nation's capital with the future president's son and a full security detail. They visited monuments, museums, and probably got access that most school groups could only dream of. Then came St. Andrew's Episcopal School in Maryland. Tuition? $50,000 per year. Yes, you heard that right. $50,000 annually. This exclusive school provided Barron with a sense of normalcy while living in the White House. He made friends, participated in activities, and focused on his studies, all while residing in one of the most famous buildings in the world. St. Andrews became his refuge, a place where he could just be a kid, even if Secret Service agents were always nearby. The school is known for its commitment to fostering independence, creativity, and intellectual curiosity. It was the perfect environment for a young man living an extraordinary life. After leaving the White House, Barron switched to Oxbridge Academy in Florida. Tuition here was slightly more affordable at $38,000 per year, but still expensive by any standard. Oxbridge boasts a 100% college acceptance rate, with half of its graduates attending top 100 U.S. universities or top 50 liberal arts colleges. With that kind of track record, getting into a prestigious college? Easy for Barron. The connections, the education, the resources, everything was aligned to set him up for success in whatever path he chose. Whether he wants to go into business, politics, law, or even fashion, the doors are wide open. When Donald Trump won the presidency in 2016, Barron didn't immediately move to Washington, D.C. He stayed at Trump Tower with his mother for almost 5 months to finish his school year. Melania was adamant about not disrupting his education. She understood the importance of stability, especially for a young child thrust into the national spotlight. Then, on June 11, 2017, at 11 years old, Barron and Melania moved into the White House. This was historic. Barron became the first son of a president to live in the White House since John F. Kennedy, Jr. in 1963. That's over 50 years. Moving from Trump Tower to the White House was like going from a fancy penthouse to a palace, and Barron had access to amenities most kids only dream of. Let's start with his personalized bedroom. This wasn't just any bedroom. It was a high-tech paradise designed specifically for Barron. Modern aesthetic, sleek furniture, state-of-the-art technology, and a gaming setup that would make any teenager envious. We're talking top-of-the-line gaming consoles, high-definition monitors, surround sound, the works. This was his sanctuary, a place where he could escape the pressures of being the president's son and just be a teenager playing video games. The room was customized to his tastes, reflecting his personality and interests in a way that made it uniquely his. Then there was the private home theater. Plush seating, advanced sound system, latest movies. Barron could watch films in cinematic luxury whenever he wanted. No need to go to a movie theater. The White House had its own. Imagine inviting friends over to watch the latest blockbuster in your personal theater. That was Barron's reality. The theater featured comfortable recliners, perfect acoustics, and a massive screen that made every movie feel like an epic experience. Whether he wanted to watch the newest superhero movie or catch up on his favorite shows, it was all available at his fingertips. The swimming pool was another favorite spot. The White House pool, used by many first families before him, was Barron's place to unwind. Whether swimming laps or lounging poolside, it was his escape from public life. The pool area also became a social hub where Barron could spend time with friends and family, making it more than just a place to swim. It was a gathering spot. During hot summer days, the pool provided relief and relaxation. During cooler months, it was still a place to enjoy and appreciate the luxury of having such a facility right in your backyard. And then there's the bowling alley. Located in the White House basement, this became a favorite hangout for Barron and his friends. Imagine having a private bowling alley in your house. Most people have to go to a bowling alley and rent shoes. Barron just walked downstairs. It became the perfect spot for friendly competition, bonding with friends, and creating memories that most teenagers could never experience. The alley has been a White House feature since the Truman administration, and Barron made full use of it. He hosted bowling parties, competed with family members, and enjoyed the simple pleasure of knocking down pins without ever leaving home. Despite all this luxury, Melania was fiercely protective of her son. She wanted to give Barron normalcy, shielding him from negativity and ensuring he had a balanced routine with time for school, play, and family. She often spoke about the importance of being a hands-on mother, present for every step of his journey. Melania understood the unique pressures that came with being in the White House, and she did everything she could to make sure Barron had as normal a childhood as possible under extraordinary circumstances. She limited his media exposure, protected his privacy, and created boundaries that allowed him to grow up without constant scrutiny and security. Barron was always accompanied by Secret Service agents. These highly trained professionals ensured his safety at all times. This level of protection was both a necessity and a symbol of his unique status. It allowed Barron to move freely and enjoy his life without constant worry about security threats. Even after leaving the White House in 2021, he continued receiving protection until he turned 16, as federal law entitled him to it. His parents, on the other hand, will receive Secret Service protection for their lifetimes. The agents became familiar faces, constant companions who balanced vigilance with discretion. Let's talk style, because Barron Trump, he's a fashion force. With a former supermodel as his mom, Barron was destined to have impeccable taste. Melania's sharp eye for fashion ensured her son was always dressed to impress. From the moment he stepped into the spotlight, people couldn't stop talking about his stylish outfits. Fashion magazines analyzed his looks. Style blogs dissected his choices. He became a trendsetter without even trying. One of his earliest iconic looks was at his father's presidential inauguration in January 2017. At just 10 years old, Barron wore a navy blue suit, white button-down shirt, and navy silk tie. His perfectly styled hair and polished look set the tone for his fashion future. He looked like a young executive, poised and confident beyond his years. It was clear that fashion wasn't just about clothes for Barron. It was about making a statement. Standing on that inauguration platform, he commanded attention with his maturity and sophistication. Fast forward to 2018, and Barron wore a $10,000 black suit to the White House State Dinner, honoring French President Emmanuel Macron. Yes, $10,000 for one suit. To put that in perspective, that's more than many people's monthly salary. But for Barron, it was just another outfit. The suit was impeccably tailored, fitting him perfectly and showcasing the high-end craftsmanship that only luxury brands can provide. Every stitch was precise. Every line was clean. This was haute couture at its finest. But perhaps the most extravagant aspect of Barron's style is his watch collection. This is where things get really wild. Barron has been spotted wearing a Rolex Submariner, which starts at around $10,000. This iconic timepiece is a symbol of luxury and precision, worn by celebrities and wealthy individuals worldwide. The Submariner is legendary in the watch world, known for its durability, craftsmanship, and timeless design. Then there's the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, a sleek and sporty watch that comes with a hefty price tag of $20,000 and above. This watch is basically a superhero for your wrist, combining style with top-tier engineering. And if that's not enough, Barron has also been seen wearing a Patek Philippe Nautilus, a watch whose price starts at $30,000, with prices varying significantly based on the model. Some versions of the Nautilus can go for over $100,000. That's over $60,000 just on his wrist across these three watches. Most people don't spend that much on a car, but Barron wears it casually on his arm. These aren't just timepieces, they're investments. Luxury watches like these often appreciate in value, making them both fashionable and financially smart. Even Barron's casual style makes statements. In 2019, returning from Mar-a-Lago, Barron stepped off Air Force One in khaki pants, a white polo, a bright red jacket, and beige New Balance shoes. The puffy red coat stood out against his parents' neutral tones, proof that Barron isn't afraid to experiment with color and style. While Donald and Melania kept things classic and understated, Barron added a pop of personality with his bold red jacket. It showed that even in casual moments, he had a distinct sense of style that set him apart. In August 2020, at 14 years old, Barron impressed onlookers with a 1950s retro-inspired outfit. Stepping off Air Force One, he looked like a fashion model in a red, white, and blue trimmed bomber jacket by the high-end brand Moncler, paired with black jeans and black leather shoes. This stylish ensemble showcased Barron's ability to accessorize and make a statement. He wasn't just wearing clothes, he was curating looks. The Moncler jacket alone probably cost several $1,000s, but the way he wore it with confidence made it look effortless. Barron's wardrobe features designer brands like Ralph Lauren and Brooks Brothers, known for their timeless elegance and quality craftsmanship. These aren't fast fashion brands. These are heritage labels that have dressed presidents, CEOs, and the world's elite for decades. Every piece in Barron's closet is carefully selected to reflect his family's status and wealth. From custom-tailored suits to perfectly fitted dress shirts, everything is designed to perfection. With his height, he's reportedly over 6 feet 7 inches tall. Good looks and family connections, speculation about Barron entering the fashion industry isn't far-fetched. He has all the makings of a future icon. Could we see him on runways, fronting major campaigns, or even launching his own fashion line? Only time will tell, but the foundation is certainly there. His natural sense of style, combined with his unique position in society, gives him opportunities that most aspiring fashion icons could only dream of. Barron's public appearances have always been a subject of great interest and fascination. As the youngest son of a former president, his presence at various events often captures the media's attention and sparks public curiosity. One of his most recent and notable appearances was during Easter 2024 at the Mar-a-Lago Club, a luxurious resort owned by his father Donald Trump. The Easter dinner at Mar-a-Lago was a grand affair attended by high-profile guests and members of the Trump family. Barron, standing tall and strikingly similar to his father, was a standout figure at the event. His height, which has been a topic of discussion in the media, adds to his commanding presence and makes him easily recognizable in any crowd. Dressed in an impeccably tailored black suit and a yellow tie, Barron exuded sophistication and elegance, reflecting the high standards of the Trump family. Mar-a-Lago, known for its lavish settings and exclusive membership, provided a fitting backdrop for the Easter celebration. The resort, with its sprawling grounds, luxurious amenities, and opulent decor, is a symbol of the Trump family's wealth and status. Barron's presence at such an event highlights his place within the elite circles of society and the luxurious lifestyle he leads. The media coverage of the event was extensive, with numerous outlets capturing images and videos of Barron and his family enjoying the festivities. In fact, various videos and photos showed Barron at different points of the Easter celebration, and on all occasions he was seen standing close to his father and mother. Also, in one video, he is seen seated next to his mother and with some guests, while he appears to be waiting for the food to be served. Trump could also be seen standing near him talking with some guests. The event showcased the close-knit nature of the Trump family and how Barron, despite his young age, fits seamlessly into these high society gatherings. However, this Easter appearance was not an isolated event, as Barron has made several notable public appearances over the years, each reflecting different aspects of his life and personality. These appearances were significant as they introduced Barron to the national stage and highlighted his role within the Trump family. In addition to the lavish parties and behind the impeccable suit, Barron Trump is a lover of sports, especially soccer. From being a fan of Arsenal Football Club, as he was spotted wearing an Arsenal shirt in the White House garden back in 2017, Barron went on to play for DC United's under-12 team and Arlington Soccer Association's under-14 team. Meanwhile, his dad Donald Trump has made some notable moves to support Barron's budding soccer career. He has been reported to have sung Barron's praises to the president of FIFA and even introduced him to soccer stars. With this, it is clear that Trump is a proud dad and wants to help Barron succeed in the sport he loves. Well, I guess when you are Barron Trump, son of the US president, loving soccer means dear old dad gifting you with FIFA World Cup souvenirs direct from Vladimir Putin, organizing hangouts with famous players like Wayne Rooney, and giving shout-outs to your sports career at press conferences. All of these special perks and rare public appearances have put Barron under public scrutiny. As Barron Trump grew older, his transition into adulthood became a focal point for the media and the public. In fact, turning 18 in March 2024 marked a significant milestone, not just for Barron but also for the way he was perceived by the world. The youngest Trump was no longer just a child in the shadow of his famous parents. He was stepping into his own spotlight. A former NBC executive has also recently suggested that Barron, now an adult, was no longer off limits to public criticism. This statement opened the floodgates for online commentary, with many asserting that Barron was now fair game for critique and, of course, ridicule. One of the most notable developments following Barron's 18th birthday was his announcement as a Florida delegate to the Republican National Convention. This move thrust him further into the political arena, a space dominated by his father. Despite the increased scrutiny, Barron appeared relatively unbothered by the attention, as he seemed ready to carve out his own space in the political arena. The former president also once mentioned that Barron does like politics and often gives his father advice. This interest in politics could hint at a future role in the political landscape following in his father's footsteps. However, in a surprising turn of events, Barron declined the opportunity to support his father in his campaign for the Republican presidential nomination as a delegate due to prior commitments. This unexpected withdrawal came just before Barron graduated from Oxbridge Academy in West Palm Beach, Florida. As Barron steps into adulthood, the luxurious lifestyle he has grown accustomed to will undoubtedly continue. From designer clothes to lavish estates, his life is proof of the wealth and privilege of the Trump family. But with this luxury comes the inevitable public scrutiny, which has only intensified now that he is an adult. The world is watching to see what path Barron will choose. Will he follow his father into politics? Will he pursue business ventures? Will he break away and create his own legacy entirely separate from the Trump name? One thing is absolutely certain: Barron Trump's life is unlike any other. At just 18 years old, he has experienced more luxury, traveled to more exclusive places, and had more unique opportunities than most people will have in their entire lives. From that golden baby carriage to the caviar moisturizer, from the penthouse floor at Trump Tower to the personalized bedroom in the White House, from $10,000 suits to $30,000 watches, every aspect of Barron's life screams opulence. He has properties worth hundreds of millions of dollars. He has stock portfolios that grow exponentially. He has attended the most exclusive schools. He has met world leaders, celebrities, and athletes. He has lived in the White House. He has flown on Air Force One. He has been protected by Secret Service agents. All of this before even reaching 20 years old. But beyond the material wealth, Barron also represents something fascinating about modern America. He's a symbol of extreme privilege, yes, but he's also a young man trying to navigate life under extraordinary circumstances. He didn't choose to be born into the Trump family. He didn't ask for the spotlight, yet here he is, managing to maintain a relatively low profile, despite being one of the most talked about teenagers in America. The future holds endless possibilities for Barron Trump. With his resources, connections, education, and family name, He could literally do anything. He could become a business mogul, like his father. He could enter politics, and perhaps even run for office one day. He could pursue fashion, given his obvious style and his mother's background. He could become a tech entrepreneur, given his generation's affinity for technology. Or he could choose to live a more private life, managing his wealth and staying out of the public eye. Whatever path he chooses, one thing is guaranteed: he'll do it with financial security that 99.9% of the world can only dream about. He'll never worry about student loans, rent, or how to pay bills. His trust fund ensures that he and potentially his children and grandchildren will live comfortably for generations. That's the power of generational wealth, and Barron Trump is the perfect example of it. So there you have it. Barron Trump, $60 million at 18, golden baby carriages, caviar skincare, designer suits, mansions worth hundreds of millions, stock portfolios that would make Wall Street jealous, a life so luxurious it's almost unbelievable. But with all this wealth comes scrutiny. Now an adult, Barron's stepping into his own spotlight, whether in fashion, politics, or business. The world is watching. What do you think about Barron Trump's lifestyle? Is this the ultimate American dream, or is it too much? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive, smash that like button, subscribe for more videos like this, and hit the bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.